Okay. When I turned 40, Chuck Morgan said, meet me at the post office on Cedar Bluff to get your passport picture made, because we had to go on a trip with his company, I think to Mexico or somewhere, and I had to have a passport. And I had cried so hard about turning 40 that my passport picture, I'm doing this and I'm speckled from crying. You know, when you cry, you have speckles. And because I had to show this passport this weekend in Montreal, and I looked at that and I thought that was old. Oh my Lord. If I could tell you anything, this is the best time to eat blueberries and salmon. Don't eat goldfish with that baby in the car with a Diet Coke. I know you got a lot on you. You got all them kids. But try to do a good foundation now, because in your 50s things start hurting. And I think it's all that white flour and sugar I ate. Yes, I do. And look at me, I'm inflamed. A night sweats, you know, wear a big tight girdle. I need to lose weight, because a little woman in the airport the other day said, "You are so much thinner in person than you are on your Netflix special." And I know she meant it from a loving place, but I thought, which I did, my head was the size of the bijou, my breast. But anyway, okay. I know people are, but she was sweet. She had on a capri.
Oh, bless her.
I know, she didn't mean it ugly. Okay, Chuck Morgan and I met at the University of Tennessee, and let me go back and say this. I always in my heart knew I was going to be in show business. I thought I was going to be a movie star. Might happen. But as a little bitty child in Adams, Tennessee, 500 people on the Kentucky-Tennessee border outside of Nashville, in my heart, I feel like God revealed it to me that I was going to be in show business. But then I also would think, am I crazy? Nobody else talks about this. And I remember going through high school and telling my friends I'm going to Hollywood. And but then I did, you know, I was a little country kid. I didn't know how to go to Second City. I was a big fan of Saturday Night Live, but I could have never. I didn't have the guts to say to my parents, I'm going to LA at 18, I'm going to try to make it. You know, I mean, that just was, it didn't even cross my mind. So everybody said, you're going to go to college or the military. And I was like, Lord, I can't go in the military. So I followed my high school boyfriend at the University of Tennessee, and we broke up right after we got here. And I really thought, I'm not going to finish UT. I'm going to marry him. We're going to farm. And through, back and forth at UT and quitting, and then I went back to college, and I was getting my degree in Child and Family Studies. And I really wanted to be a therapist if I wasn't going to be but in my mind the whole time thinking, I'm going to Hollywood, but I might be a therapist. So I got my degree in Child and Family Studies, Crisis Intervention Counseling. I met Chuck Morgan, who's from Morristown, Tennessee, and I always wanted to be a mama and a Hollywood movie star. But I married him, having every intention of having babies, but in my mind thinking, but I'm going to do show business. And so we moved to Bean Station, Tennessee. We were in our 20s. He bought a used mobile home business that refurbished mobile homes in Bean Station behind the post office. Moved me there, and I am a people person. It was very difficult for me. I didn't know anybody. He worked all the time. I had his own business. My friend in Nashville said, I'm selling this jewelry like Mary Kay and Tupperware. It's called Premier Jewelry. You would be wonderful at it, Leanne. You'll meet people and you can make a little money. Because by then I got pregnant with Charlie, my oldest, who's going to be 30 this year, and I wanted to nurse him and stay at home. So I started selling jewelry, and I didn't even care about jewelry. And I started selling jewelry for this company out of Dallas, and I had my host party where I invited all my friends from church, and I was, pitting out in a denim. I wore a denim shirt with a skirt and a wrap skirt, and I had a spiel I was supposed to tell, and then people were going to book parties from that, and then that's how it got going. Well, and I was so nervous and all that, but I know that I probably used humor in it, but I booked parties. Well, I started booking like a year in advance. Women thought I was funny, because I'd go to somebody's house and schlep this big case, and I'd put it out on the card table, and they were like 1999 earrings and that kind of thing. Who doesn't love a 1999 earring? And not real, and somebody would make a dip and a brownie, and we would have a ball, and then I would get up, and I was supposed to be talking about jewelry, and I would talk about breastfeeding and hemorrhoids and all that, and women thought I was funny, and a girl named Carmen, who I'm still good friends with, pee-peed on a couch one night, and I am not kidding. She got so tickled she tee-teed, and in my mind, that was a God moment where it was like, okay, you got it. She just peed on this couch. You could do stand-up, because I'd always loved stand-up. When I said I wanted to be in Hollywood, I'm not kidding. My mama would keep me home from kindergarten. She'd go, your stomach hurt? And I go, yeah. She goes, let's watch Hollywood Squares. Let's watch Match Game. She loved it too. She loved comedy, television, film. And she would say, someday you're going to be a movie star. And she would say this, you're going to be Marilyn Monroe because you've got blonde hair on your body and that photographs well. And in my mind, I thought, oh, well, yeah, that makes sense. But anyway, she would keep me home and let me watch all that. Paul Lynde, all these people. And I'm sorry, I got off on a tangent. Oh, but so anyway, I'm back. I've always loved it. And I can go back to times where I thought, I've got something. I can do it. I can do it. I don't know how, but I can do it. But that was one of the moments where I thought, all right, I have something. The company noticed, started asking me to speak at their big things, like at Opryland Hotel, regional thing. I'd be in front of all women. I'd breastfeed. By then I had Maggie, my middle one, who's 27. I remember breastfeeding Maggie in a toilet in Opryland Hotel, then handing her to my mama and then going on stage. And I was supposed to be talking about how I was getting booked so far in advance, but I got up there and told jokes. And then women came up to me at that thing and said, you need to be a stand-up. And that gave me the strength and the encouragement. Okay, I can do it. I don't know how, but I can do it. So I started doing around Morristown, Tennessee. Like I would go do the Rotary. I'd do something for the Rotary and to drop my kids off at preschool or whatever. And then I got pregnant with my third baby. By then I couldn't be schlepping all that jewelry with 3 babies. And my husband went to work for a big company, Clayton Homes, manufactured housing, biggest in the United States. And they moved us to San Antonio, Texas. And I had a comedy club for the first time. But I had done a comedy club in Nashville. I had opened for Billy Gardell, Mike and Molly. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, I got a hair stuck to something. And I had a ball, and Brian Dorfman, who owns Zanies in Nashville, who is huge in comedy still to this day, and a good friend of mine, said, Leanne, I think you got something. But you've got 3 babies and there's no way you can do this traditional, like go work in comedy clubs every week. You're not going to get to raise your own children if you do that. And it made me mad, but he was right. He was right. And I thought, okay, I'll just find another way. So I moved to San Antonio, there was a comedy club. I did open mic one time and they moved me up to opener. And then there was a comedy club down the road in Austin, Texas called Cap City Comedy Club. It was one of the best comedy clubs in the United States. Rich Miller owned it, who was Dennis Miller from Saturday Night Live brother. Their other brothers, Jimmy Miller, who has Will Ferrell, Ellen DeGeneres, all these people. They sent my CD. I had my first CD that I shot in a mobile home park in Halls. A picture of me holding a baby in front of a trailer. And they sent it to Jimmy, and I got my first deal with ABC and Warner Brothers for a sitcom. Paula Deen was going to play my mother. By then, we had moved back to Knoxville, and I was on tour with the Southern Fried Chicks, and it was me and 2 other female comedians, and we worked the Tennessee Theater and came through here. But anyway, things were happening for me. Like I couldn't do comedy clubs like traditional stand-ups do, but things were happening for me, and I got signs that, I've got something. I was 38 in San Antonio and just turning, probably 40 when I came back here. We came back here in 2004. Oh, babies and my husband traveled all over. By then he had been promoted to come back to Knoxville. That's why we came back. And he was over a fourth of the United States for Clayton Homes. So he traveled Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday. So I was the one that picked them up and did all that. So I tried to do, like you talk about, we would be together at events and stuff. I wanted to do, thank God for Knoxville hiring me to do things that I could do around just to keep my foot in it, my toe in it. Yes. And knowing that I did work like 5 clubs a year, but I just could not go out on the road and not raise my own children. Yeah. I didn't want that. I couldn't. I mean, women have done it and it's been really hard on them. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to raise my children.